Hello friends. Now going ahead from the South Wacker Drive in Chicago, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to give you a brief journey of concrete till where we are today so that we get a brief understanding about what concrete can do and then we understand the behavior of concrete. The next one which challenged the previous was the Petronas Towers. This is in Malaysia. This has 104 concrete piles. They range from 60 meters to 114 meters. The concrete raft foundation has plenty of concrete in it, that is 13,200 cubic meters of concrete, which was poured continuously. The raft is 4.6 meters thick, that is huge. It weighs 32,500 tons and it had the world record for the largest concrete poured till 2007. The Petronas Towers are the tallest twin towers in the world made with the tube-in-tube structural system. This was the latest one which was developed during that time and this was used over here. The 88 floor twin towers are considered largely of are constructed largely of reinforced cement concrete with a steel and glass facade. The entire site had to be moved 61 meters aside to allow the building to sit completely on soft rock as the test boards concluded that original construction site was on the edge of the cliff. There was a cliff, half would have been over the cliff, half would have been on the cliff, over off the cliff and on the cliff. The half the portion which was there on the cliff, it was on decayed limestone, so which was not good. The other half was remaining on soft rock, so the whole building was moved further to sit on the rock, soft rock. Now, because of this, what happened was it had the world's deepest foundations. The design was made the building twice as heavy on its foundation as compared to steel building. If they had used a steel building, the foundation load would have been less, but then they could not get steel. There was problem in importing the steel, so they decided finally that they will be doing of reinforced concrete. The towers used a sophisticated structural system that accommodated its slender profile and it provides 560,000 square meters of column free office space within a 23 by 23 meter concrete core and it has an outer ring of widely super spaced super column. Now that is our Petronas Towers, huge area, one of the wonders of the world. Then this one everyone will be knowing, the Burj Khalifa. It's a skyscraper in Dubai. Since it's topping, that means putting the top spire on it, the roof height has become 828 meters. It is the tallest structure, the building in the world. The amount of concrete used, 45,000 meter cube. It has been done with concrete and steel foundation. It has 192 piles bored more than 50 meters deep. Now, one thing very important about this Burj Khalifa, which one cannot understand looking at it directly, the tower, it rises from the base and goes up in a spiral pattern. It has 27 setbacks, which decreases the cross section as the tower goes upwards. Now, why this has been done, why these 27 setbacks have been given, why that spiral effect has been done, the 27 setbacks are arranged and aligned in such a way that it minimizes vibration due to wind loading. It minimizes eddy currents. It minimizes vortices. At the top, the central core comes out to form a finishing spire. The finishing spire itself is 244 meter high. At its the topmost point, the tower sways, moves horizontally by about 1.5 meters. The spire itself is made of 4,000 tons of structural steel. The central pinnacle, that height itself weighs 350 tons. That's huge load on this. Well, but the most important part is the primary superstructure is made of reinforced concrete, and as I have told, the construction has used much more amount of concrete and steel in this particular structure. Now, when the construction was done, we have to remember one thing: the consistency of the concrete used was very important, because this concrete had to withstand both heavy load as well as high summer temperatures of about 50 degrees centigrade. Because of the high temperatures, the concreting was never done during the daytime. It was done during the night time, and cool water was used. Cool water. Sometimes the icing water also was used when the concreting was done. Coming to the next one, which is the first skyscraper in India? The first skyscraper in India was built in 1959, and that is the LIC building in Chennai. Let me tell you, it still stands today. The skyscrapers took birth in India with this one. This was the first skyscraper, and it remained the tallest building until in 1961 a new one was built, that is Usha Kiran in Mumbai. Now this LIC building marked the transition from the lime and brick construction to concrete columns in the region. The building is known for the use of pile foundation technique for the first time in the southern region. It has used 521 pneumatic Kaizen piles. A total of 3,000 tons of cement and 1,000 tons of steel was used. It was the first time electric elevators were also used. This building was specially planned to save energy, as it had concrete wall construction on the eastern side and the western side, and glass windows on the northern and southern sides, because of which stable temperature was maintained as well as good lighting was maintained in the building. The next one which overtook the LIC building was Mumbai's Usha Kiran in 1961. Well, the iconic building of India, the Lotus Temple. This was architect Fariborz Sabha designed. A UK-based firm, Flint and Neil, did the structural design of this, and the construction of this was done by our L&T group, that is ECC Construction Group during that time. It is part of the L&T. Now this particular building, this structure has 27 freestanding marble clad petals. They are in three petals. You can see one petal down facing the public, then the second one standing, and the middle one inside concentric. All three forming concentric rings. There are 9 door openings which all open on the central hall. The central hall has a height of 40 meters. The Lotus Temple has a elevated plinth. The plinth itself is high, and it has a huge landscape with gardens. It has 9 swimming pools or pools on each side of the facing each of the entrance ways. The petals form each layer face outward, forming canopies over the 9 entrances. The second ring envelopes the outer hall. The petals in the innermost ring curves inward to partially cover the central prayer hall. The top of the structure contains a glass and steel roof that admits natural daylight, and therefore you always feel that it is open. The surface of the Lotus Temple petals is made of white marble from Penteli Mountains. Now where is this Penteli Mountain? Penteli Mountain is in Greece. Remember, this is the same marble with which the Pantheon was built. So that particular structure, marble, has been brought and used over here. Now as far as the construction of this is concerned, let me tell you, constructing this is not easy. And this was not done as precast as the Sydney Opera House. This was constructed in situ. The problem with RCC construction in such type is that when the angle goes on increasing, constructing becomes very difficult, because if the concrete is fluid, it will be flowing down. Even when these type of problems were there, our ECC construction groups constructed the Lotus Temple at Delhi. One of the most visited structures in the world is this. Coming to Goa. In Goa, we have today the highest structure, concrete structure, is the Atal Setu at Panji. The Atal Setu construction has consumed about 1 lakh cubic meters of high strength, high performance concrete. It has M80 concrete also and M35 concrete also in different parts. About 13,000 tons of corrosion resistant reinforcement steel has been used. 1,800 kilometers of high strength pre-stressing strands and 32,000 square meters of structural steel plates have been used in this bridge. This bridge stands as at Panji, the capital city.